So in the previous class we had discussed the law of chemical combination, that is first law we had discussed the law of conservation of mass, which states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. So after that Lavoisier along with the other scientists he noted that many compounds were composed of two or more elements, and each such compound had the same elements in the same proportion irrespective of where the compound came from or who prepared it. For example, if you will take the common example such as water, whatever the source, maybe water is coming, it is the sea water or the you are pumping hand pump and getting the water, or whatever is the source rain water, it contains hydrogen and oxygen. Whatever may be the source of water, it contains hydrogen and oxygen. So if you will see the masses of hydrogen and oxygen, so mass of hydrogen, that is 1 unit, since 2 hydrogen is there, so mass is 2 unit. Then oxygen mass is 16 unit. So hydrogen is 1 unit, since 2 hydrogen is used, it is 2 unit, and oxygen mass is 16 unit. If we will find out the ratio, we will get 1/8 or 1:8, or 1 part of hydrogen and 8 part of oxygen. So when this is the fixed proportion, this is the fixed proportion of water, whatever the source of water may be, but they always found in 1:8. The mass of the hydrogen to oxygen in water, that will be in the ratio of 1/8 or 1:8. For example, if I will tell that 9 gram of water is there, so 9 gram of water is there means how much gram of oxygen or how much gram of hydrogen is required to get 9 gram of water. So if we decompose 9 gram of water, then we will get 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 gram of oxygen. That is, water is present in water, hydrogen and oxygen is present always in the fixed proportion, that is 1:8. So if we will decompose the 9 gram of water, we will get 1 gram hydrogen and 8 gram oxygen. This is our fixed amount. Now suppose you are having 5 gram of hydrogen. So you are having 5 gram of hydrogen. How much gram of oxygen you need to make water? So you have 5 gram of hydrogen, how much amount of oxygen you need to make the water? So let oxygen we will take as X. We are having a fixed ratio of hydrogen to oxygen, that is 1:8. For water, the fixed ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is 1:8. So that we can use here 1:8 equal to hydrogen is, we are having hydrogen 5, oxygen we don't have, so oxygen we will take as X. So now you can find out X equal to 40. So for 5 gram of hydrogen you need 40 gram of oxygen to make water. So for 5 gram of hydrogen we require 40 gram of oxygen so that we can make water. This will be fixed. This will be the fixed proportion, whatever may be the source of water or from whatever the water is coming. So we can find out. So similarly, if I will say that 100 gram of water, then what will be the, if you will decompose 100 gram of water, then what amount of hydrogen and oxygen you will get? So suppose you are given 100 gram of water, so then in 100 gram of water how much oxygen is there and how much hydrogen is there? So we have fixed proportion, that is 1:8 or 1:8. So 1x and plus 8x, we are having total amount of water is our 100. So we can calculate, and we can calculate the value of x, which is coming 11.11. Approximately you can take 11 also. Approximately you can take 11 also, but the accurate value is coming 11.11. So now you will calculate the oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen amount is 1x. So hydrogen will be 11.11. Similarly, oxygen is our 8x. So 8 into 11.11, that is, we will get this much. If we will add these two, hydrogen and oxygen, if you will get, then you will get approximately, you will get here 99.99. Then there are some these decimal values. If you will calculate, we will get the 100 gram. So this is how we are getting that how is the what is the amount of hydrogen and oxygen in water. Its fixed proportion is 1:8. Its fixed proportion is 1:8. So when water decomposes, it's give 1 part hydrogen and 8 part oxygen. This is our fixed. Similarly, ammonia, nitrogen and hydrogen. So nitrogen and hydrogen are present in ammonia. So we will see how they are present in what fixed proportion or what is the fixed ratio for ammonia. So for ammonia, nitrogen the mass is 14 unit, hydrogen mass is 1 unit. Since 3 hydrogen is used, mass is 3 unit. So ratio we will found 14:3. So by mass, the ratio of nitrogen and hydrogen in ammonia are always present in the ratio 14:3, whatever the method or the source from which the ammonia is obtained. Now similarly here also we will take an example. So we have nitrogen 42 grams. So for 42 gram of nitrogen, how much gram of hydrogen we will take to get ammonia, so that ammonia can be formed. So similarly here we don't have hydrogen amount, so we can take it as X. Then our fixed proportion is 14/3. Whatever the source may be, the ammonia, in ammonia nitrogen and hydrogen will be present in 14:3. So we can use it as 14/3 equal to nitrogen is given 42 by hydrogen we don't have, so we can put the value X. Then we can solve it as 42 into 3 by 14. So 9 grams. So we for 42 gram of nitrogen we have to take 9 gram of hydrogen so that ammonia can be formed. So for everything we are getting a fixed proportion. So every compound, so many compounds are there, they were composed of 2 or more elements. So such compound had the same elements in the same proportion, whatever the source may be, we are getting them. So this also leads to the another law which is known as law of constant proportion. So here it is known as law of constant proportion, and it states that in a chemical substance the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. The law of constant proportion, it states that in a chemical substance the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. So this is our two laws of chemical combination. First law is law of conservation of mass, which states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, and the second law of constant proportion, it states that in a chemical substance the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. So after this, the next problem faced by scientists to give appropriate explanations to these laws. So the John Dalton, British chemist John Dalton, provided the basic theory about the nature of the matter, and this was known as Dalton's atomic theory. So that is known as Dalton's atomic theory. So according to Dalton's atomic theory, matter, whether an element or compound, it is a mixture composed of small particles called atoms. So the postulates of Dalton atomic theory we can say as, according to Dalton, all the matter is made up of very tiny particles, and those tiny particles are called atoms, which are indivisible particles, that cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. So this is also similarly means based on Greek philosophy, ancient Indian philosopher, like we were having after dividing matter, when we go on dividing matter, ultimately a time is coming where no more further division is possible. So that is called atoms. So all the matters are made up of very tiny particles called atoms, which are indivisible particles which cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. So atoms of a given element, they are identical in mass and chemical properties. So in an element the atoms are identical in mass and their chemical properties, they are identical. So atoms of different elements have different masses and chemical properties. Like we will take the example of carbon and oxygen. The atoms of carbon is different from the atoms of oxygen. So atoms combine in the ratio of small whole numbers to form compounds, like they are making compounds carbon dioxide, CO2, water, H2O. So small whole numbers in the ratio of small whole numbers to form compounds. So the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. In a given compound, the relative number and the kinds of atoms are constant. So basically the matter is made up of very tiny particles called atoms, which are indivisible particles that cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. So now you have to learn the Dalton's atomic theory and the postulates of Dalton atomic theory along with the two laws. So in the next class we will study about the molecules, atoms and molecules.